In this video, I want to talk about how social media made my life considerably worse and how it made me become this socially alienated person that no longer felt any kind of connection to anybody and no longer was able to feel the beauty of just simply spending time outside in nature, just as I am right now. I've been using social media ever since I was 10, 10, 11, 12. I had been using Skype. I had been using YouTube a bunch ever since I was young. So, years passed by, and, to keep up with the trend, I essentially ended up getting more of these sites. So I ended up using Discord as well. But, you know, I can consider myself very lucky in some sense because although I've used a bunch of social media, I haven't used that much. I mean, I've never been on Instagram or TikTok or Be Real or Snapchat or any of those things. So I can consider myself better off than most people, but I want to emphasize on the fact that even though I didn't have any of those things, having Discord and YouTube was genuinely enough to make my life horrible. I'm gonna tell you that again. Genuinely having Discord and YouTube made my life horrible. And you might be wondering, what a fucking hypocrite. I mean, you're on YouTube right now, you're talking to me and everything. How did it make your life worse? Well, you see, it's about the content that I used to watch on YouTube. And I genuinely used to watch the most bullshit and just random content, like this random dopamine inducing content and all these random things which genuinely just had no use for me. They were just pure entertainment. So I used to watch all these purely entertaining videos. I used to have my dopamine sense like fucking high as shit throughout of everything. I mean, I can genuinely remember not being able to watch like a video that's more than like 30 minutes long, which didn't have like all these overly edited sections and all these crazy things happening. Like, I could genuinely not do that. I remember being in school and not being able to focus at all. I remember being incapable of focusing on simple things just because I could not focus. My attention span was reduced to bullshit, to nothing, because of the time that I used to spend on YouTube just watching all this overly saturated, edited content. And on Discord, that's where kind of the more social aspect of social media came in, right? So that's where if you don't know what Discord is, it's kind of like a platform where you can talk to people. It's kind of like Skype, but it's more video game oriented, and that's mainly what I used it for. I used to play video games like 6 hours a day, so I was genuinely fully into video games. I think I have over like several thousand hours in some games, and so on Discord I spent most of my day with people who genuinely didn't give a fuck about me. And I see that in the most honest and I don't even know what to call them, like the most meaningful way possible, right? I mean, I'm not just saying it just so I can just like insult those people. Bro, I genuinely didn't like genuinely we didn't care about each other. And I can understand why, I mean, back then, I remember we were genuinely like all these we were all addicted to video games. And those people, who I used to play video games with, who probably they never quit as I did a year ago, so they are still probably addicted. They're still doing all those things. Bro, we were all friends because we were addicted to the same drug. You know that concept of you like just having all those friends and you're all doing drugs together, and you're all acting as friends, you're all junkie friends, right? Or at least if you cannot like get that thought in your mind, just imagine somebody who just goes out with all these kinds of different people at the club at night or whatever, they go out drinking, they get drunk, and then they end up drugging themselves. They take drugs and everything after, and the next day, after they end up sober, they never talk to each other again. Like, they only talk to each other. They only contact each other when they want to go out in the club and get drunk and do drugs after. They never contact each other when they're genuinely sober. when they're genuinely alone with their own thoughts, they don't care about the other person anymore, because they are all friends because of that drug, right? And social media, to a great extent, along with video games, along with all those things, they're drugs. Social media, video games, anything like genuinely that you can think of that's on YouTube, but it's on the internet. My bad. So all those things that are genuinely like super dopamine, like super super like exciting to watch, and they're like they just I don't even know what to call it. Like they just overly stimulate you, right? All these overly stimulating things, they're genuinely drugs. They have the same effect on your brain as drugs would, but instead it's not like a substance that you're ingesting or something. It's like literally you are watching that thing. You're genuinely ingesting that substance through your eyes, right? You're genuinely, I don't know, man. It's honestly fucking crazy how horrible we've all ended up, right? Because of social media. But you know, I used to be friends with those people who I met on Discord, who I spent more than 6 hours a day with, playing video games and doing whatever, because we were all addicted to the same drug. We were all addicted to video games, and so you know, it felt nicer to play video games with somebody else, who was addicted to video games as well, because it just felt like I wasn't alone, right? And I solely remember being alone on Discord several times, and being alone on video games, like playing video games alone, felt horrible. Genuinely, just the fact that I was not constantly talking to somebody, as I was not constantly just shifting my attention, it made me feel horrible. When I genuinely had some like several moments of just alone time with my own mind, I felt horrible about myself. I genuinely felt horrible about myself. I felt like I had no reason to be there. I felt like my life was genuinely going in the wrong direction. It was genuinely just being a horrible thing. And that was the truth. That was genuinely the truth. That was the truth, and my brain was genuinely shouting it, like, your life is shit. Do something. Do something. Your life is shit. Fix your life. My brain was genuinely fucking shouting at me, and yet I ignored it. And I kept playing video games, and I kept going on Discord, and I kept watching all these overly edited YouTube videos that genuinely were just for entertainment. They had no educational purpose. There's a cat over here. Oh, cat. I did all of that. For what? Just literally just to numb myself away from that pain that I felt, knowing that I was not achieving my full potential, knowing that I was just wasting my time. I knew it. Like, at some point, I genuinely realized that the hours that I was spending, I was genuinely wasting my time. I and I dread that feeling. I genuinely dread it. I hope that I never feel that way again. I think that's more intense and more horrible than any kind of physical pain that I would get from doing like a gym session, a gym workout. I think that's more painful than any kind of pain that I could feel while going on like a marathon, running a marathon. I think it's more painful than any kind of pain that I would feel recording a video or genuinely writing a book. Like, it's more painful just thinking about that. And it's because it's pain that you don't really want. There's different kinds of pain, I believe. And like the pains that you would get from like working out and exercising and genuinely doing all these mentally challenging things and all these challenging things that are good for you, it gives you a different sense of pain, one that you grow to enjoy. But if you have that sense of dread, if you have that misery, you cannot enjoy it. It's impossible to enjoy it, and once it comes, it never fucking leaves. I mean, unless you do something about it, it never fucking leaves. And of course, all throughout the years, I've taken, I don't even know, like a bunch of breaks, because I genuinely, oh, this is another aspect as well, bro. I used to spend a lot of time talking to strangers, right? On Discord. So that was essentially what I spent my time doing. I was just talking to all these people who were strangers, essentially, like people that I didn't know in real life, who I never even saw their face. I never even knew their name. I genuinely just played video games with them or just talked to them. Or, a while back, I used to also go in all these Discord servers, which are filled with people, just to go out socializing. How fucked is that? I genuinely wasted hours of my life, hours and hours. I remember sleepless nights where I just spent them awake at the computer, just talking to people who I didn't even know, I didn't even trust. And like all of this, like genuinely just spending time with all those people, and I ended up building like a bunch of friendships, right? All these kinds of connections with those people, like bullshit connections, right? But at the time, I thought they were meaningful because I thought that was genuinely the way that I could be making friends. Just go on Discord, go on like some random Discord server with all these people who are all addicted to the same drug, and just be friends with them. Yeah, fuck no. And while I was doing that, it genuinely just let me. Yeah, so this was when the sense of dread started pumping in. So this was around 2020, right? Like it all got significantly worse for me when the pandemic started, where when COVID-19, like the lockdown hit and everything, and we were kind of like indoors, and we were only allowed to be at home for God knows how long, like what, 9 months or something like that, I think, you know. And in that time, I genuinely used to fucking play video games every single day. Every single day, there wasn't a day that passed by without me playing video games. And I was used to watch all these TV shows and series, and they were all bullshit, right? I was wasting my time. I spent my time genuinely talking to all those bullshit people. I spent more time talking to those people than the people in my family. And I was literally in the house with my family. And I used to spend more time a day talking to random fucking strangers than talking to my own loving family who genuinely gave a fuck about me. No, I back then I'd rather just waste 12 hours of my day talking to those people instead of genuinely talking to my parents. I used to wake up at like 1 p.m. I used to go to sleep at like 4 a.m. every single day, wake up at 1 p.m., feel absolutely fucking horrible. Like, you have no, maybe you do, maybe you have an idea, but genuinely, if you've never experienced this kind of disorganization in your life, then it is the worst possible feeling that you can get. Like, it's like genuinely, if you feel like some sort of fire burning up inside of you, right? Just imagine some sort of fire burning up inside, or some sort of discomfort. You have like this inner discomfort in your mind, maybe in your body, and it's just there, and it's there, and it's there. It's like just pumping in you. It's just like always. It's like having this itch that you just cannot get rid of. That's a really good way that I could describe my experience back then, and like when the COVID-19 pandemic everything started, right? Around 3 years ago. Bro, I had this itch, like this constant fucking mental and physical itch to some extent, right? This feeling of just that of misery. Like I felt horrible. I felt like I was wasting my time, and I knew that I was wasting my time. It wasn't just a feeling. I was genuinely wasting my time, and I knew it. And I just ignored it. And I think there's like two stages in which you can uh use social media and all these internet things, and I guess any kind of other addictive thing, right? It's the stage where you're oblivious to what it does. You're oblivious to like the horrible effects it has on you, and then you kind of end up starting to feel the effects and everything. And then the second stage is when you know what the effects are, when you know what it does, but you keep doing it because you're addicted. But you keep doing it because your mind cannot get enough of it, because your body cannot stop. And at that point, when you reach the second stage, when you know what's wrong, and you know why it's wrong, but you just keep doing it, because you're addicted, and your brain genuinely cannot comprehend change. It cannot comprehend you not doing that thing anymore. So you're just doing it while it feels horrible, and to some extent you know why, and you just keep numbing yourself. And that was, I think, the worst part of my life. I mean, I've had family members passing, I've had family members dying. I've went to their funerals. I've had my fucking dog die. Like the dog that I genuinely loved for so long. I loved her name was Yukon, right? It was this German Shepherd, and I loved her. I had her for like 2 years, and then she died. I felt horrible, but just this pain that I felt during the pandemic could not compare. Like this was genuinely larger than the pain I felt when my fucking family members and my beloved dog died. Like I'm not trying to downplay the death of like the passing of a family member. Like that was fucked up, and I still feel it sometimes, like some sort of sadness. But those things, at some point they end up kind of passing away, and you know that it's gone. Like that person is gone. My dog Yukon is gone. I cannot bring her back. I mean, I can be sad about it all that I want, and I can miss her, but she's never gonna fucking come back. And at some point you get used to that feeling, and you understand it and you accept it. But with you, like this other pain that when you're feeling, when you're doing something horrible, when you're doing something bad, but you just keep doing it, and you know it's bad for you, but you just keep numbing yourself because you're addicted, or you just want to make yourself think that you're addicted so you don't have a reason to stop. Like the pain that you feel then, it's like it's no longer okay, this thing passed, accept it. Because here it's happening right now. You cannot accept it because it's past, because it hasn't passed yet. It's happening right now, and it's not gonna pass. You're not just magically gonna stop playing video games after like you've had an addiction for like more, almost half your life. You're not gonna magically stop scrolling on social media every day and masturbating and everything when you've been doing it almost like religiously, in a sense, like you've been doing it all the time, like you're not gonna magically stop doing those things. So they're not just gonna pass like that. And so they're gonna keep happening, and you're gonna keep feeling the pain, and it's gonna be a constant fucking dread. It's just gonna be right there, right enough to keep you kind of in the same level of this, like, no, same level of comfort that you usually feel, but not enough to actually get you to change. Like you'd feel this pain, but this pain, it's not powerful enough to keep you, to like get you this sense of, oh, holy shit, I need to do something. It's like this pain is way too unbearable. Like it's bearable to some sense, but at the same time, not over long periods of time. I mean, over long periods of time, it's fucking hell. And for me, like I felt this pain for years, for 1, 2 years, 3 years. I genuinely felt horrible because before this, I was oblivious to what social media, video games, what the internet overall, like genuinely the ways that I used to spend my time on the internet, like what those things did for me. I never understood. But once I got to the point where I realized, holy shit, this is destroying my life, and I kept doing it, that's when my life became shit. Like that's when I genuinely fucking despised everything. And and for some people, for example, for my parents, they look back on like the lockdowns and everything when we were at home. I mean, you can look behind me, like you can see like fucking green hills, right? And when the pandemic came, my parents were fucking ecstatic to stay at home a lot, and we always went around on walks and everything. And for them it was a great time because they had time away from their jobs, they had time away to be at home, to kind of take care of the house and everything, and they were happy to be here, they were genuinely happy. But for me, that part of life was genuinely fucking horrible. I genuinely think it was the worst time of my life so far, because I felt that itch. I felt that sense of dread, that sense of misery, and it just kept pushing onto me, like just pulling onto me on and on and on. Oh my god, I genuinely remember waking up at like 1 p.m. and being fully fucked, and I knew that at some point, like me genuinely being on Discord and spending time with like 20 different people all at once and being in like spending half of my day with those people, at some point, I ended up believing that I created a relationship, like a friendship with those people. And so I felt forced to be with those people. I mean, I genuinely, there were months of my life in this period of time when I genuinely didn't want to be with those people anymore, but I felt fully fucking obligated to be there. I genuinely felt obligated to be in those friendships, those relationships, because it's what I did to myself. And back then I genuinely had like zero self confidence, zero self esteem. I had no self respect, right? And that made me essentially kind of be incapable of saying no, incapable of refusing someone. And so when those people, they were always like, "Come on, let's play some video games. Come on, let's do this. Come on, let's watch this," or "Come on, let's do that." I never said no. I always just nodded along. Even when I felt like I just wanted to scream and break out, I never did because I was too scared of what it meant to be alone. What it meant for, several months to just be on my own. I was scared of that. And God knows I shouldn't have been. God knows I shouldn't have been scared of being alone. And throughout this time, as I've previously mentioned, I took like several breaks in which I kind of spent like 1 or 2 weeks because I genuinely, there were points in my life where I could not even take it anymore. Like I genuinely felt burned out just by going on Discord and talking to those people. I felt burned out. I felt like my life made no sense anymore. I just felt horrible in every sense of the word. Right? And so I had moments where I just felt like the only choice that I had left was to like take a break. And I mean take a break and not quit because back then again I was addicted to those things and I did not even consider the idea of quitting. I never thought that I'd quit. I just thought I'd take a break, relax and then come back. And things would like magically fucking change. I genuinely thought things after like 2 weeks would naturally just change like that. That is the biggest lie that I think I've told myself throughout my life. It's not that Santa Claus exists. It's not that the fucking how children are made. It's not any of those things. That although those are pretty big lies, that you get told about in your childhood about your by your parents and everything. The biggest lie that I think I've told in my life was that I could just remain in the same position that I was, being addicted to those things, and that I could be happy. Like I genuinely, that was the lie that I kept pushing onto down my throat. That I could be happy. I could be. Like, I'm not happy right now, but I mean, if I keep spending time with those people and if I keep connecting with those people by playing video games every fucking day and feeling horrible about myself, maybe one day I'd get to be happy. That day never came. That day never fucking came. I never felt happy with those people. I'm gonna say it as honest as I possibly can be. I mean, I laughed with those people a shit ton. I think I've laughed with those people the most I've laughed with anyone in my entire life. But the fucking second that I closed that computer, that I closed that phone, and I was alone with my thoughts for just a moment, or that I looked in the mirror for just a moment, I look at my face, I was reminded of everything that I hated. I was reminded of everything that I just fucking despised about myself. And that was my incapability to quit. That was my cowardice fear of changing something in my life. I ended up at some point. Oh, this is, oh my god, this is this just like another memory just came to my mind right now. I developed a weirdly strong fucking paranoia. I'm not even kidding. I genuinely developed like a weirdly fucking scary paranoia because of those people, because of the time that I spent on the internet. Because that was back when around you'd see like all these kinds of stories about people who like shared their addresses and maybe they shared their faces online and their names and everything, and then those people would end up being killed or they'd end up being abducted or like I don't know, blackmailed or something. Like I was like all those stories of like all those online pedophiles and everything. And so those stories, they genuinely fucking scared the shit out of me. Like I don't know why, but I just developed this very, very horrible obsession over just like not letting any kind of personal information come out. I was genuinely fucking, I don't even know how to explain it, bro. Like I don't think I can genuinely put it into words how scared, how paranoid. I genuinely felt paranoia about like putting myself out on YouTube, like or being like with those Discord friends, like friends. I again, I didn't trust those people at all. Like there was like maybe one or two people that I genuinely knew in real life, and yeah, I trusted those people because yeah, fucking hell, I know them in real life. I know where they live. I know who they are. But the other people who genuinely lived halfway across the world, I didn't know those people. I didn't know what they were capable of. And so I was scared. I was genuinely, I felt trapped in those friendships most of the time. Most of the fucking time I wanted to quit. Most of the time I didn't want to be with those people. But yet I felt trapped in those places because I was scared. I was genuinely fucking, my paranoia got the best of me and it told me, if you quit, if you like stop spending time with this person, they're gonna come and they're gonna fucking find you. They're gonna literally just piece together every kind of fucking personal information that they can find about you, and they're just gonna come and find you. And I don't know, how fucked is that? Like I'm laughing about it now, but like this was a genuine fear that I had 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was full on paranoid about this. And to a lot of people, this might seem like I'm fucking crazy. Like how the fuck did you get paranoid over that? God knows. God fucking knows. I have no idea. But it happened. And if it happened to me, then it means that it can happen to anybody. Anybody out there, and there's probably a lot of people out there who genuinely feel paranoid. Like the people that I used to spend my time with, as well, some of them, they genuinely started being paranoid as well. I spent my time with paranoid people. I was paranoid. They were paranoid. We were genuinely paranoid about each other. Some fucking dumbass 14-year-olds paranoid about each other. Man, I don't even know. I don't even know what the fuck to even think about that. Like, genuinely worst times of my life. I was scared to do it. I was scared to talk to people. I was scared to do anything. And I mean, now, look at, I'm fucking recording myself on YouTube. Like, the past 50 videos is just my face. It's me talking to you. It's me showing my surroundings. I was genuinely scared of showing my surroundings to, like, the camera whenever I video call people when I eventually talk to them or something, because I was scared that they would find out where I live and that they fucking do something, bro. I don't even know. How fucked is that? But now, I don't give a fuck, man. I no longer have this fear. I've genuinely, fully went past this fear. Just from quitting social media. Just from spending time on my own. And so, yeah, all these feelings of just horribleness and misery that I felt, in the past 2 or 3 years, they all just in the past 2 years, right? They compounded into this conclusion that I had. That was, I gotta get the fuck out of this mess. I gotta fucking change something in my life, or else I don't even know. I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Like, if I've become so obsessively paranoid over something as minor as this, if I've genuinely been scared of all these things, and I've genuinely been living my life in terror, in fear, where the fuck am I gonna end up in 2 years? Where the fuck am I gonna end up in 10? I was socially alienated by this point. I genuinely had no friends, like no actual friends in real life. I spend my days on Discord. Like, those were the only places that I had any kind of friends in. Spend my days on Discord. Spend my days on YouTube, on video games. That was the only kind of comfort I had. And even then I was paranoid. Even then I was scared. So I was scared of, like, public opinion when I was out with other people. I was scared of what other people thought of me. And when I was online, I was scared of other things. So I genuinely, like, my entire fucking day was spent in being in, like, fear. My entire day was spent in fear. And I guess at some point I just realized that enough is enough, and I realized that I have to change my life. That I don't want to end up living my life like this. I knew that if I don't do anything about it, it's not just gonna magically disappear. I had that belief for so long, and it never happened. Like, nothing never happened. So I one day I thought to myself, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking do it anymore. I went on a trip to the UK at once, spent like a week essentially without, like, any kind of actual social media, without any kind of video games and anything. So, and then I came to the conclusion that, fuck, man, I can't do it. I can genuinely live my life without those things. It felt like so weird. It felt like such a new concept. And I thought to myself, okay, let's take this rationally. Okay, I'm gonna, like, spend a week or two without playing video games, and without doing that and doing that, without playing video games and without masturbating. Like, I'm genuinely gonna make an effort to not do it. And, like, those weeks passed by without no problem. At some point, I thought to myself, I might as well, like, do a month, 2 months. And then I just came to the conclusion that, bro, I did it so far and I'm okay. I don't feel any kind of problem. Then I might as well stop. It means that I genuinely can live my life just as well, even if not better, genuinely 100 times better without those things. And so I quit video games, I quit masturbation, I quit porn, I quit social media entirely. I genuinely just have YouTube that I upload my videos on. I don't watch TV. I don't eat junk food. I don't, like, I think I've done, like, a fucking crusade against my own fears and my own insecurities in the past year. I genuinely went on a full-fledged crusade this past year. And I'm so grateful for it. Because I want to be here. I want to be here talking to the fucking camera, because I would, like, bro, if I just kept the same way if I kept living the same way that I used to live, like, bro, I wouldn't be able to record videos, put them on YouTube, because I would have been too scared. I would have been too fucking paranoid. But no, there you fucking go. This is me. My name is Cosmin. That's it. You have no idea how horrible my life was and how amazing it feels now to just know that just to be able to say that I conquered that. It genuinely makes me happy. It makes me so fucking happy to know that I've gone through all that pain in the past years, and I've come out of that shithole myself. And I'm never going back to that. Like, there's nothing in this world that could ever convince me to go back. If you like just stick a fucking computer, like a full gaming computer with like everything that you'd want, all the games in the world, video games in the world, just in front of me, and you told me it's all yours forever. You can do whatever you want with it. It's all yours. I wouldn't fucking take it. Maybe I take it. I genuinely sell it. I'd get the money, but I mean, I wouldn't like fucking waste like a expensive computer, but I wouldn't play the video games. I wouldn't ever fucking touch another video game again. I wouldn't ever go on Discord and spend time with all those shit people. Maybe I'd use Discord, to talk to people who I genuinely give a fuck about, people who I genuinely consider my friends. But bro, I can talk to those people in real life. I can call those people. I can message those people on Messenger, on WhatsApp, on whatever. I don't have to be on Discord to talk to those people. I can generally just call them up and just go and meet them right now. That's it. I'm not gonna ever ruin my life just the same way I did 2 years ago. And I think this could serve as a reminder, as a warning for you to never go down this path. Or if you have, to just... Maybe this video will intensify that pain that I've talked about so much. Like that horrible pain that you feel. Maybe this video will intensify it, but just know that the sooner that you act on this pain, the better it gets. The better you'll feel. Like the more relieved. You'll get like a huge fucking pressure off your chest. Just by admitting to yourself that I'm not gonna play video games again. Or I'm never gonna go on social media again. Or I'm never gonna spend time with those people again. Or I'm not gonna do any of those bad habits that I've developed ever again. Like, it just takes a huge fucking pressure when you truly believe that. Right? When you truly believe what you say, and you say it wholeheartedly, it takes like a full fucking... It takes a boulder off of you. So yeah. I think I made this video overly long, but I think it's fucking worth it. And I think this video will help a lot of people, and I wish you all the best, man. Good luck.